bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Here I am driving through the ghettos of Canning Town in a brand new whip, and I'm just thinking about 2018 and what a year it's been. We've had Wilder Fury, what a decision that was, how controversial. Canelo Golovkin, the rematch. Warrington shocked everybody against Selby, something none of us saw coming. Well, I wouldn't say none of us, but most people didn't see coming. And now we've just had Frampton Warrington, so BT Sport, Frank Warren delivering big time. And I'm excited to see what 2019 is gonna have an offer from them. But what about my 2018? Let's have a recap. So the aim for 2018 was to win at least one title.
2018, I'm getting a belt.
And the first step to doing that was fighting Yailton Neves at the York Hall on the 24th of February. And that was a fight in which I wanted to give the fans and supporters a lot of excitement, because there were a lot of people who bought tickets to see me fight in December, and I ended up not getting out because I was afloat. So because of that, I went out to get a knockout, and I didn't care how it came about. I just went out swinging, went for it. I did knock him down. I think there wasn't enough variation in my work, which meant that he got accustomed to the power, the pace, and generally to what was going on, and it meant that he saw things through. Either way, it was a comfortable win, 40-35. And shortly after, the Zak Chelli fight was muted to my team by people at Frank Warren Promotions, and that was the fight that we were up for. So then the next step was, how do we make this fight happen while still going on to fight for titles? And then ideally, this fight would be for a title.
Woo!
Look, there's also this saying, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard it. Successful people look for opportunities that they desire, and when they can't find them, they make them. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this vlog. Top boxer vlogs, just like this one you're watching. Engaging, original, dynamic, fun, but graft hard as I'm, right? It's something I wanted to bring into boxing to stand out, to show and connect with the likes of you guys watching. Although I wanted to do it when I first started boxing, I didn't have the right infrastructure set up, or I didn't even have the right processes in place that allow me to be able to create a vlog that's consistent, like this one that comes out every 2 weeks. And also just to make sure the quality is what I expected. So with all of that being said, and speaking of my team, there was then an opportunity and a setup that could work starting from April, and it's worked coincidentally that I'd just gone to America.
Yo, yo, yo. It's a top boxer in the United Mother States. They let me in, mum.
It was a perfect opportunity to start the vlog off with a bang. A lot of fighters rely on the promoter to put them on a platform, put them on a pedestal, you know, give them everything on the plate. But the way I see it is, if I was in a promoter's shoes, put shows on, and now because I'm putting on a show and I've rented a venue and paid all these fees and licensing and booked so many things, now I've got to get my money back. And the quickest way to get my money back is to sell the show out. Now, who's going to sell the show? The people whose names are the biggest. So whose names am I going to use to promote the show? So if you put my picture in something and you put Fury's picture on something, they would both draw different levels of attention. So with that being said, I wouldn't expect Frank Warren to put on a show with Tyson Fury in it and be promoting my name for it, because how's that benefiting him? At this time, the best thing to do is to increase your value so that you become more valuable and you get paid more, which is exactly what I'm doing with these vlogs. I'm putting a graft in outside of training. It's not easy, it's hard, especially keeping up with the consistency of it, but I still do it because I'm a grafter, I'm a hard worker, I believe in creating my own opportunities, and this is what I'm doing with this, because at the end of the day, I've got to stand out in order to achieve all the things that I want in boxing. And one of the worst things I want to be is to be a person who's high risk, low reward. So at the very least, I provide a reward to everybody who's got any titles that I want or any fights that I want. Now, after the Yailton starting the vlog, the next step was just crack on in this title campaign. And the nearest title that I saw at the time was one against Darryl Williams, because at the time he's an English champion, promoted by Frank Warren, which I am. Both Londoners, South versus East, always sells well. So I thought, you know, this is perfect, and I pushed for the fight. And the reason why I started drumming up interest and calling out Darryl Williams early on in the year is because I knew that was a fight that could be made any time in the year, more likely towards the end of the year. Either way, I pursued the fight, I put a lot of pressure on, I got Darryl to bite, and there was a lot of engagement back and forth. He threatened to slap me.
Got top pussy Sadiq. You're an idiot. I mean, I told him when I said I'm gonna slap him in the face.
Chill out, Daryl. I only called you a chihuahua. Jeez.
Yada-da-da-da. But it was never anything personal, and I think I showed that from the gesture I made to after his controversial decision in his last British title fight, and he responded to that with pure class and true Darryl Williams fashion. So he accepted the words, the kind words, but he quickly took them away. No, that was funny. I really laughed at that. That was good. So the next step was to demonstrate to everyone that I do have the skills that I'm telling everyone I have. And that was June 23rd at the O2, where I got to make my BT Sport debut. That was fun, against Kamil Al Temini. In that fight, I got to show, to some extent, the skills that I possess, my ability to deliver on a big night and a big stage, and my ability to get people out of there in good fashion. After the Kamil fight, showing out on BT, you know how we do, who remembers the dance? Frank started to take me more serious, I believe, and was then willing to test me against another undefeated prospect. Then pipes up Joey Powell, Zak Chelli's manager, until takes a picture of me in the ring talking about Zak having his way with me. The challenge was accepted. Sadiq versus Chelli was arranged for September, which ended up being October. So the fight that was made for September, but then eventually moved to October, was then allowed to be announced on the 28th of September, which gave literally 4 weeks in which to promote the fight, sell tickets, generate as much attention and traffic as possible towards the fight. And for me, I felt like this is a fight that's going to catapult me. I need to make sure people are aware of what's going on.
I'm out here in Westfield, my city, East London, to ask the public and find out what they think of Zak Chelli, and if I'm mad to take him on so early in my career. Let's go.
You know, undefeated versus undefeated, with both less than 5 fights on the records. And for me, bluntly put, my aim was to steal the show. It was to be the most talked about fight on the card, but also to be the most entertaining fight on the card. And I achieved those two things. Unfortunately, there were things that happened leading up to the fight, which you'd all be privy to very shortly, that meant that my performance was subpar. I rate myself 4 out of 10 on that performance in regards to my ability and my capabilities, and especially what I should be doing with the likes of Chelli. That's not to take anything away from him. Chelli fought very well. There were a lot of things he did a lot better than I expected him to do, and you know, well-deserved win, so congrats to him again. But that chapter's not closed, because we're going to revisit this month. In a build-up, shared content. Through jabs at Chelli to draw some reaction, not because I needed any personal reaction from him, but because I wanted him to react, just to give the public more of a talking point, so people got something to talk about when they go to the gym, or when they go to work, or when they're around their fellow boxing friends or boxing fans. At the press conference, I absolutely made sure that at the press conference I made a talking point. That happened to be with the cooperation of Zak's dad. That was brilliant. I saw it did the rounds a bit on social platforms, especially on YouTube, better than what the press conference for that show would have been otherwise. So
Your son goes around sparring people and then coming out and talking about how he knocked them pillar to post and then getting blacklisted from coming back to sparring. That's what your son does. If you want to talk about respect, how about you carry yourself with the same respect instead of walking into world champions gyms, sparring them, recording secretly, and then leaking on the internet to talk about what your son done to them.
Frank thanked me for that. So, you know, as I mentioned, leading up into the fight, so many mitigating things happened, so many things went wrong that I want to say I couldn't see coming, but I have to admit that I could see coming, however, just in the most unconventional of ways. So, basically it was in regards to my culture at the time. Him and I had very different approaches to life and to work, and there were numerous things we didn't agree with in regards to how things should be done, but I just kept that faith in, you know, I've given this guy a responsibility of looking after the most important role in my boxing career, so I need to be able to trust their judgment. In that spirit, I took on board a lot of things that he said and the way he did things. I'm very meticulous by nature. I like forward planning. I like to prepare for the worst, to avoid it. He doesn't. The consequence of that was that he turned up to the venue 3 minutes before I walked into the ring. In short, the very simple way to put it is this: when you have someone who you love who's boxing or doing anything else, and they have a coach whose responsibility is to prepare them as best as they possibly could to achieve their full potential, when that person turns up late 3 out of 5 times, when your loved person is performing, when that coach knows that your loved one woke up twice overnight to change their clothes because they were drenched in cold sweats because they had a cold, and then doesn't check up on them all day, when the coach turns up 3 minutes before the biggest performance of your loved one's career and then refuses to accept responsibility for doing it in future off their own back, unless you pay for, unless your loved one pays for their hotel stay, amongst other things. There comes a point where you say to your loved one, listen, I know you're putting your career in this person's hands, but you've really got to consider your different options. And I reckon I was put in a position where I gave him every possible lifeline that I could give within reason. And with every lifeline I gave him, instead of pulling himself up, he hung himself. Eventually I just had to go my separate ways. And in the interest of avoiding making the same mistakes again, it's taken me so long to have another boxing coach. So the reason I don't have a new boxing coach yet is not because I'm lacking coaches wanting to work with me or coaches opening the doors to me. It's because I'm taking my time to explore as many different coaches and setups as possible, so that when I make a decision, it's one that I truly believe is the right one, especially for me. But secondly, it's one I'm comfortable with because I've seen what else is outside, and I know that this is what made the most sense for me, because the next move has got to be very important. I've been put in this position now where I'm having to come back from a loss so early on in my career, when in my mind and in reality I am the best super middleweight, not just in Great Britain but in the world. And I am going to prove it. But, I've been put in a scenario that I think for me just catapults me into a greater story to be told. It's helped me, this journey of looking for new coaches helps me learn so much more about boxing, so much more about the politics of it, the economics of it, the methods and systems, just the entire landscape. So I've grown so much in the last couple of months that actually I'm very thankful for this. And for the things that I had to go through leading up to that fight, and to still be able to perform the way that I did, I only take confidence from it. So I get some people speaking to me, and I can tell that they feel a sense of sympathy towards me in regards to what happened. But to all those people, I say, don't. If anything, be excited for me, because this has just made me grow in, like I just said, all the things that I've learned, but most importantly for my own self-confidence, because now I can feel like, I can have a cold, have all the worst things happening to me, have literally no warm-up, and go into the ring against an undefeated prospect who's a banger and still put on such a good fight. Damn, I must be the shit. What 2018 has taught me and proven to me, not that this is the end of the vlog, because watch the video, there's still some more, but recap in 2018. For me, 2018 has taught me that through hard work brings results. Shaq's the best. Shout out Bitstocks. This relationship's gonna make a lot more sense, by the way, guys. It's all about being dynamic, doing things your own way, having aims and purposes that are bigger than yourselves, being able to impact the world. Even this vlog, I say that I do this because I'm trying to stand out, and I am. There is a selfish aspect to it, but there's also a selfless aspect to it in terms of highlighting, giving a narrative of the life of a boxer. And this is from the come up, this is from the get-go. Someday someone's gonna be able to watch all of these vlogs and think, whoa, it's actually a documentary on this guy's career. Because when I was trying to turn pro, one of the hardest things for me was to get in touch with professional boxers and speak to them on their experiences, or to understand exactly what it takes to be a pro boxer. I understand that my scenario is a bit different to what majority of people's would be, because I don't need to work a full-time or a part-time job for this. Well, technically modelling is my part-time job, but you get the idea. A lot of people are scaffolding, bricklaying, working in offices, but luckily I get to box full-time. I model occasionally, and I get to focus on my craft for most of the time. Either way though, I'm still following a lot of challenges, or I'm still experiencing a lot of challenges that most fighters face in regards to ticket sales, emotional, mental challenges like what I'm going through right now. And there are a lot of lessons to be learned from this, and these are part of the reasons why I'm so open and honest with what's going on, and especially what's going on in my head, because I'm engaging with you guys, fans and supporters and followers, but also it's an educational series for people who want to look into the life of a boxer, or potentially want to be boxers themselves, and they want to get an idea of what they're getting into. Graft hard, you attract the best. Shout out Bitstocks. That's how we do. So saying that, what 2018 has taught me, recap in 2018. For me, 2018 has taught me that through hard work, perseverance, determination, originality, going out your way to make things happen rather than waiting for them to be given, you can get what you want. Ultimately, also, I've learned, trust your gut instinct, follow it, because all the things that I've fallen short on can be traced back to when I've ignored my gut instinct, and I've ignored making hard choices, hard decisions, because I couldn't be bothered to think through the process of doing them. For example, when I said there were things with my ex-coach and I where we didn't agree in the way that we worked, the right thing to have done after enough of those experiences would have been to think, well, this is clearly not what's going to work for me in the long term. How do I go about leaving? But I guess the feeling and the thought of having that conversation with him and knowing that it could potentially mean that we're parting ways, and then having to go out to look for a new coach was a thought process I didn't want to engage in or entertain for any long periods of time. But now that I'm aware of that, going forward in future, not just with coaches, just in all aspects of life, whenever there's anything that I'm concerned about or I'm not completely comfortable with, I would speak on them and I'll take action, even if it's the hard thing to do. It's also taught me that I'm an absolute badass, and 2019 is going to be lit. So, with that being said, going on into 2019, here's what you can expect from the Top Boxer. I'm going to have a very, very busy first half of the year. So I'm going to be active, potentially every 4 weeks if possible. Career's back on track in terms of having a stable training system, have those regular fights leading up towards the summer. Again, I'm back on the title campaign. I'm just starting really low because I know how the game works and I know where I've got to be, so that by the summer I'm challenging for a title, and if not immediately after the summer, I want a title. One way or another, I'm back on the horse. This last defeat did not knock me down. It's given me more confidence, it's given me more fire, it's given me more determination, focus and drive. If anything, it's been a blessing. I know that that's a cliche, but watch what I do next and you understand that I mean this. Woo! So first and foremost, I'm gonna shout out to my guy Andy. That's not Andy Ailing, that's Andy Pyra, my agent, always by my side, always plotting, always putting things across that you guys are gonna experience soon. Shout out to Frank Warren himself. Shout out to Dev, Andy Ailing, Tony, George Warren, Francis Warren, Emma, Bianca, Shane on the media, Mervin, Jason. So obviously I'd also like to give a big shout out to the media outlets who helped me expand my reach and have introduced me to new audiences and have increased my engagement. So they can't be ignored, guys. I know interviewing us does a service for you, but you also do a service for us. A massive shout out to the likes of Andy and Rob from Boxing Social, Umar and Coogan from IFL, Danny Flexon from Seconds Out, Pep Talk, that's Frankie B, Pascal, my main man Shaz, that New Age Boxing podcast, you know who you are. That's Andy, Terry Chappendama, Mr. Chatterbox, and Martin. Pav Bambra from PSB Sports, Fight Talk, Head Movement, big up your souls, and everybody else who's giving me the time of day on the channel and on the media platforms. Thanks a lot, man, because you guys are helping expand the reach and the come up with the Top Boxer. And most importantly, for the people that absolutely can't happen without, that's y'all. You guys, yeah, I see you, Bill. I'm joking. Why am I saying Bill? There's a lot of guys watching this. But big, massive thank you to you guys on a serious note. Without you guys, and I know this is such a cliche again, I hate cliches, but it's the truth. Without you guys, for all the work that I do, I wouldn't have the rewards that I have, because ultimately I get the opportunities that I get based on how many of you are interacting. I've racked up over 360,000 social media views. Amazing numbers for someone who's had less than 5 fights this early on in the career and hasn't had a massive push that the likes of an Olympian or a high profile name for any other reason would have had. So the numbers speak for themselves. You guys are getting behind, and I'm loving the support that I have when I am fighting, people buying tickets. I absolutely have a different level of respect and love for you guys you wouldn't even imagine. But keep buying the tickets, keep sharing, keep liking, keep engaging with comments. Speak about me, bro. Share me to whoever you've got. Just keep supporting, because I'm going to continue to do my best, my very best, to deliver on entertainment, quality, insights, the full works, and also just, you know, ideally to brighten up your day somewhat at times. Like today maybe, with this smile? No, with this smile. Big up yourselves, thanks a lot, I really appreciate it, and enjoy your Christmas. I know I would. Mum's gonna love having me around the house for Christmas. Go out there, do whatever it is that you do at Christmas. Just have a good time, drink safe, avoid drink driving. Happy New Year, I wish you all the best and lots of prosperity in the new year, and let's all succeed and achieve together, because ultimately I just love to see everybody win. So let's do it, Team TBS.
Yeah, boy! Bass! How low can you